Hey everybody, Brad Linder here, back at you with another sketch card of the day. We're going to be doing Tygra from the Thundercats. Bear with me just a moment while I refresh my page here to share it with everybody and share it over with the YouTube channel so that we can get that going. And going to hammer this out so that we can see it. There we go. Cool deal. Now I'm going to switch over here. Mariano, hey, thanks for making it. I appreciate that, man. Hope I pronounced that correctly because I will butcher names, unfortunately, from time to time. Going to be knocking out the classic Tygra here. I'm going to start right in on his nose and get this thing going. This is one of the last Thundercats that I had to do for this set. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and want all that to come together here. So, been a long day today. Just kind of hammering stuff out, getting sights up due to the delays that I had going on this early part of the week, and got behind on Night of the Living Dead because of some technical stuff going on. But anyway, we are all but ready to go there. I'm going to put that seam right on the other side of that to make it look a little more natural. Since it ran over a little, I want to blend it a little bit. And then there we go. That's going to work perfectly. It's going to work swimmingly. So, I am knocking this bad boy out as soon as possible here. Now that I've got the face laid in, I don't want it to look like Cats Off Broadway kind of thing with this. And I was afraid of it looking that way. So I was trying to be very cautious with the coloring. But, yep, we'll make it happen. So I hope everybody's having a good evening this weekend, or the middle of this week, actually, towards this weekend, with Thursday being tomorrow. Because they're saying this weekend is going to be nasty around most of the area where I'm at, especially here in Oklahoma. They're saying it's going to be iced and sleet covered and all that good stuff, and we got it. We are living that prediction. Our meteorologists have been pretty well spot on as of late, because that is exactly what we've had for the last 48 hours. Just complete coverage of ice everywhere. But we're all nice and safe and warm inside and all that, so we don't have to worry about it. But so, because we're here drawing cards today. But yeah, I have to get back to finishing that last page for the first set, and I had to wait for the new server to propagate because Namecheap, that problem I had with Namecheap last week, messed up a few of my sites and left them hanging off my private server. For some reason, they decided to monkey with it, and it messed some of my code up, so I had to go in and change it because they backlogged it. So if you're ever going to get a domain name, don't ever use Namecheap, because those people will go through with the bug that they know about, and they will leave you hanging harshly. And they don't care. They don't care. That's one of Comic Kickstarter is one of the few domains that I actually have with them, and they redirected it back to an old connection and messed up a couple of other sites in my link flow, so I had to go back and correct all of that. Fun. But anyway, not too much of a complainer about that stuff. Things happen, but when a service you trust goes after you and does something stupid like that and messes up your livelihood, it kind of puts a chink in the armor. But it is what it is. We're drawing Tygra here and knocking this out for the sketchbook so that I can get that up and get this one moving forward. So we're good. And it's all corrected, by the way. So it just took them a lot longer than I thought they would to fix a couple of domains that they had in limbo, because you can't redirect them when they're locked out like that, because the system locked us out, us being some of the other users and I, in this known error they had. So made a little bit of a mess, but I've got them on my new domain account, my registrar account, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. But it took forever. So I think that's the slowest propagation I've ever had on a website too. Is it took forever to transfer them over to the new registrar so that I could get them moved off of there and safe. But anyway, now I think we've got Tygra's base coat in place here. I'm going to go with this super light E00, which I wanted to do for this flesh color, because it is the closest to a tiger's flesh tone. It's like an eggshell color, and I really wanted to grab that and make it work for this project, because this particular piece is one of the most diverse in color range, because it goes from one end of the spectrum to the other, and there's no middle ground, and it's specific colors that you have to make happen. That's the reason I'm using the Copics today, to make sure that it works ideally the way it should. Because he's got a little bit of color right in here, but then that is white back there on these fins of the back of the hair. I'm going to leave them like that. I have a really cool, it's called a light rouge, because his eyes are just a little bit different than the other cats. It's got more of an amber color to it, so I wanted to use something that would grab that. And now I'm going to let that set a little bit before I go toning it anymore, because I've got another brown that I want to use, A13, that I want to use for the primary part of the shading for his suit, or his skin rather. And I'm going to do, this is the lighter blue full shoulder, full arm piece. Okay. And bear with me just a second. I was making sure that I was getting messages that everybody was coming on and saying hi, and then I didn't see anybody, so I had to transfer over. Now, I'm going to use this right on here as well, in this centerpiece, which technically this is supposed to be a little bit lighter blue on the shoulder, and a little bit darker in the middle here for this piece. But I'm going to go ahead and use this lighter one across the board, because I like the look of it. So it's coming across really well. And that's awesome. I love that. That's really cool. Now we've got this sleeve over here, so I've got to watch out for that, because it goes down here and makes the lighter sleeve, but this actually comes into the darker blue as well, and comes across with a gold band right there in the crease. Hey Johnny, glad you made it, man. Let's see what's up with this darker blue. And we have contact. That looks awesome. It's a touch darker than what I wanted, but I wanted this card to really show up, and I don't want this to fade over time, so I used a little bit different variations rather than true colors, because over time, you know, if these are exposed for a long period of time, they fade. I haven't seen them fade for me yet because I keep them protected and covered up, but you guys, when you get these, you'll want to put them in a little frame and probably set them on, I wouldn't say mat them down for value purposes and collectability purposes, but I would definitely recommend putting them in a small frame and matching them up with a back mat or something else that you can lay them on, you know, kind of thing. But to keep from eating the card down, I prefer to use, when I use these raw stocks, I prefer to use the poster gum. You can use that, and it'll mash into a frame to a mat, like a piece of construction paper like this, and you can mat it down, and it'll stick, and then you won't have to worry about that, and it won't do anything to it, but it'll hold it in place. So you can have that going on. That's always cool. I do that with a lot of stuff that I have, and it doesn't damage it because it's oil-free, doesn't disintegrate the paper, doesn't affect the paper, doesn't stain it. As long as you use the white. Don't use the off-white and don't use the gray, because that will have a possibility of staining, but for the most part you won't have a problem. I know I don't. And I mount a lot of stuff and have it here in the office, you know, posters and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't tend to have much of a problem at all, actually, because I frame different works and put them in storage and whatnot, and have some of them around the office and studio for, you know, inspiration, motivation, and just for cool artwork to hang out. And you know, what's the point in having it if you're not going to put it out somewhere? But yeah, if you get one of these cards and you decide that's what you want to do, that's awesome. If not, that's cool too. Whatever works for you. So we have that going on. Got a little bit of a color in here. This won't dry quite as brown as it looks right now. It will lighten up. Just kind of trying to add a little contrast and a little color here and there to this, making it pop out a little bit, giving it some life. But yeah, these are very cool, very forgiving as a stock, so I like using them. Cool. He came out way better than I thought he would. I mean, really, he really did. Now I'm gonna go behind this guy here and color this in with this really cool dark yellow. I know it's gonna look weird until it dries, but I wanted it to be something a little bit different, a little bit more vibrant. It's going back and forth there. Trying to break in this new tip because this one is fairly new. I've used this marker a few times, but this tip is really stiff. That happens sometimes. So I'm gonna map this out. Get that off there. There we go. Go around this edge here. I'm so glad to get this one so close to being done because this subset is very important, and I want to show it off and get it out to you guys as part of the sketchbook set coming up. We're almost there. Almost. because I decided to color all of these instead of leaving them black and white. I was going to leave some of the set in full sketch phase of pencil and pen, or pencil and ink, and I decided to go ahead and color the whole set in so you guys would have it. I thought that was really, really cool to get that all done. Everybody's been begging me for it, and it's just, don't do it that way, do it this way. Fill it out, flesh it out, give us all the cards in color so we can all get colored cards. Okay, cool. That's why I'm doing this. People have been asking me why I've been prolonging this thing and holding it out, and it's because of the fact that people have been asking me to color these cards. So, just to give you an idea really quick, because you're here. Hey, Lewis, glad you made it, man. Alfred. There's a couple of cards there. There's Panthril. There's Chitara, which I probably should align that one with something. There's Why the Kitten, Why the Cat from the other day. There's Snarf. There's Linkso from yesterday. That's a cool one. There's Slithe. There's Monkian. There's Vultureman. That's one of my favorites. There's Jackalman, Palmyra, and Bengali from the other day. Boy, they look really close. But I was so adamant in making them look different because they have distinct features and different looks. I wanted to make them look the same, in the same direction. But then after I drew them, I realized, man, they're really close in pattern to be doing that. But they are different. There is Mako from the Tiger Sharks, and we will have Walro tomorrow. So that's what we look forward to tomorrow. And I hope you guys dig these so far. I'm just going to cut this off here with one more, since somebody asked me right off camera to see this. Here we go. Bumblebee. I'll show that one, and that'll be the last one for right now. Now, like I said, you guys are awesome for always showing up with me on these. To say thank you is just an understatement beyond belief. Thank you so much for doing these, appearing with these, and following along and sharing the time with me and having fun and hanging out. And hope you guys are digging them, because that's what we got going on. So anyway, that's the one for tonight. As always, we have this big rock for a short limited time, and try your best to leave it better than the way you got it. Talk to you tomorrow.